And here we are on day 20 of my 30 days of singing. 10 more days to go to the end of the month, 10 more opportunities to share some pearls of wisdom or some interesting thoughts and facts about singing. Now today is Tuesday, therefore, as I've said before, it's always Technique Tuesday. It's the day of the week where I share a technique tip or two about singing, what it is to find your voice and try to get a better understanding of the basics of vocal technique. And today I'm going right back to one of the fundamentals of what it is to sing well, and getting people to think about this breathing process. I would say 99% of the time when I start to teach someone new, their concept of good breathing and what it's all about is not always truly representative of the facts. There seems to be an idea that you have to really maximize the amount of air you get in and hold on to it for as long as you can. Therefore, you just imagine your lungs blowing up to a huge proportion, and then if you can keep it and make it last, you'll get right through to the end of that long phrase. Well, it doesn't always work like that. And of course, the basic concept of good breathing technique for singers, the hardest thing to really overcome, the psychological kind of not being very obvious way to think of it, is that of course we're relying on filling your lungs with air, and the only way we're going to do that is through one action, and that will be, well, actually a few actions, but the main concentration is to get the diaphragm, which is like a kind of dome shape. It sits underneath your rib cage like this, in this kind of shape, and as you breathe in and your lungs expand, so the diaphragm flattens and extends out sideways. Okay, now that's a muscular action. Not only do you have your rib cage intercostal muscles which allow the ribs to expand and try to maintain that breadth of the rib cage, it's also a question of allowing your diaphragm to flatten out and give it plenty of room. There's often an instance of sort of abdominal muscular tension where people grip the muscles of their upper torso, to thinking that that is what you're doing. You're actually expanding, getting the air, and then you're holding on to it. Well, that tension alone will create problems because it won't allow the air to flow. If you just try to grip those muscles, take a breath in and go to speak, but keep those muscles gripped, you'll feel the tension rising up here and ultimately will stop the airflow, and that of course is not going to give you a very good vocal result. So my technique tip of the day reads like this. It's on the screen over there, so I don't want to get it wrong. So it says, a reflexive diaphragmatic inhalation invites air into the lowest part of and widest part of the lungs. It makes perfect sense, and this means that you are going to resist upper torso tension, which of course means muscle gripping, which of course in turn means lack of flow of air. So what does it mean? Basically, you can't organise your diaphragm. It's something that works quite automatically, thankfully, of its own accord, and it's completely controlled by the nervous system. So as you go to take a breath in, it automatically will flatten out and become wider, but we'd have no control really over the way it returns to its normal position as the air comes out. What we hope as singers is to enable all of that action to happen quickly, without effort, a kind of process that you go through, a kind of well-rehearsed routine that you just allow that expansion, the diaphragm goes down, and then, it's like a well-oiled machine. But trying to get to that point where you actually get out of your own way to allow that to happen, that it's not a question of taking the air in, it's actually a question of allowing the air to be brought into your body quite naturally, and how then to best use it. So, pardon the pun, but that's a very long-winded explanation of my simple technique tip of the day for today, all about a reflexive diaphragmatic inhalation. Okay, how you allow your air in. Okay, so that's it for today, day 20. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.